What if the person you've been praying for, the one you've longed to meet, has already been revealed to you? What if God already placed the answer in front of your eyes, but you didn't recognize it yet? Pause for a second. Could it be that the dream you had, the random thought that wouldn't leave your mind, or the person who keeps showing up in unexpected places is not coincidence, but confirmation? Think about this. Many times we ask God for a sign, but the sign isn't wrapped in thunder or lightning. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's a nudge that repeats itself until you can't ignore it anymore. The question is, are you paying attention? Because right now, you might be closer to your future spouse than you ever imagined. You see, God works in patterns. He reveals in whispers before he shouts. Maybe you've met someone who pulls your spirit into peace without even trying. Maybe their presence stirs something in you that feels like home. Not comfort in a shallow way, but a soul recognition. That is not something the world can explain. It's a divine fingerprint. Here's what most people miss. They wait for fireworks, but God often gives breadcrumbs. He shows you small glimpses, almost like pieces of a puzzle. A conversation that speaks to your spirit. A shared value that mirrors what you prayed for. A moment that feels strangely aligned, as if heaven itself wrote the script. That's not random. That's revelation. And here's the twist. Sometimes the person is already in your circle, already part of your life. But because they don't fit the picture you imagined, you overlook them. Could it be that your expectation blinded you to the reality God is showing you? Think carefully. When God reveals, it rarely looks how we pictured it, but it always carries his unmistakable signature: peace, clarity, and confirmation through alignment. You've asked for clarity. You've begged God to show you. And here it is. This message is your mirror. If someone's face keeps surfacing in your prayers, if their name seems to echo in your quiet moments, don't dismiss it as chance. Ask yourself, why does God keep allowing their presence to return to my mind? Now let me ask you something deeper. What if the delay wasn't because God was silent, but because you weren't listening to the way he was speaking? What if his answer has been standing beside you this entire time, waiting for you to open your eyes? I want you to hold this thought, because in the next part, I'm going to reveal the specific ways God confirms a spouse, and how you can know without doubt that what you're sensing is divine and not just your emotions. This could shift everything about how you see your season. Before we continue, pause right now. If this word is stirring your spirit, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And comment one word below that resonates with your heart right now. Here's how God confirms your future spouse. It's not only about attraction, it's about alignment. Watch closely. When it's God, the connection doesn't pull you away from him, it pulls you closer. Your prayer life deepens, your peace grows, and instead of confusion, you feel a steady assurance even when you don't understand all the details. That is a holy confirmation. Think of it this way. The enemy can send distractions that look shiny, but they drain your spirit. They leave you second-guessing. They create cycles of doubt and instability. But when it's God's hand, there is clarity that cuts through the noise. You don't wrestle with endless what-ifs. Instead, your spirit settles into a knowing that only God could plant. Now, let's dig deeper. Sometimes, confirmation comes through repetition. You may hear the same scripture verse 3 times in 1 week. You may have a dream that keeps replaying. You may encounter the same person in places that don't even make sense. That's not random. That's God weaving his voice through your days, making sure you don't miss the signal. And here's something most people don't realize. God's confirmation is never rushed. It matures. It grows stronger over time. The more you pray, the more consistent the signs become. The person God is revealing doesn't just appear once and vanish. They become a steady presence. The timing, the words, the alignment, it starts to make sense in ways logic alone cannot explain. But let's be honest, this is where fear creeps in. What if you're wrong? What if you're imagining it? That fear is natural. But remember, God is not the author of confusion. If the thought of this person brings constant turmoil, it's not God. But if their presence makes your spirit quiet down, if it strengthens your purpose and draws you closer to Him, you already have your answer. Picture this. You've been waiting, praying, fasting, asking for a sign. And all along, God has been showing you through peace, through alignment, through His Word. You're not waiting for Him anymore. He's waiting for you to recognize what He already revealed. The question is, will you trust the confirmation you've been given? This isn't just about marriage. It's about obedience. Because saying yes to God's revelation is bigger than romance. It's stepping into the destiny He already prepared. When you embrace His choice, you're not just gaining a spouse. You're stepping into divine partnership, one that carries a kingdom assignment. So pause right now. Who comes to your spirit as you hear this? Who has God been bringing back into focus again and again? Don't brush it aside. This is your moment of clarity. This is the confirmation you prayed for. If this word resonates with you, write one word in the comments, just one, that captures what your heart is feeling.